For decades, Italian engineers have been working on designs for a massive project, one that could help solve one of southern Italy's biggest problems by connecting 5 million people in Sicily to the mainland, bringing jobs and growth to the economically depressed southern regions. The final goal? A $12.7 billion megaproject called the Messina Strait Bridge, which, if completed, will be the world's longest suspension bridge.
Nobody has ever built such a big bridge, so it is an incredible challenge.
Building a bridge that's more than 2 miles long in an area with gale force winds and frequent earthquakes is neither easy nor cheap. Here's how Italy plans to pull it off. To understand why the strait is so dangerous, here's a look at the tectonic fault lines in the Mediterranean. Experts say this line, which runs right under the proposed bridge, is where the Eurasian and African tectonic plates meet. Notoriously active, it caused a 7.5 magnitude quake in 1908, and one 50 years later, which reached 6.1 magnitude. The fault line also created this narrow corridor. When winds from the south funnel into it, they pick up speed as they're squeezed into less space, at times reaching up to 170 miles per hour. Winds like this can be devastating for bridges. In 1940, the Tacoma Narrows Suspension Bridge in Washington famously collapsed in high winds. At the time, it was the third longest suspension bridge in the world. So how are engineers planning to tackle these challenges? We visited Columbia's engineering lab to learn more. This is Raimundo Betti, a suspension bridge expert. He consulted on the Messina Bridge's early designs in the 90s. He says that a suspension bridge gets its stability from cables that attach the deck to sets of towers supported with vertical struts.
So when you have a car going over this bridge, the car is on the deck, then the deck transfers this load through the suspender to the main cable. The main cable distributes the load to the towers and to the anchorages.
The Messina Bridge will be held up by 2 gigantic towers, each 60 feet taller than the Empire State Building. The deck will be 2.2 miles long and take about 10 minutes to cross by car, making it over 50% longer than the current record holder, the 6,637-foot-long Çanakkale Bridge in Turkey.
Messina is over 3 kilometers free span, so now you are pushing the envelope not just of few meters, but you are pushing the envelope of about almost a kilometer.
While that jump in length is a construction challenge, it's also a solution to one of those big environmental dangers. Experts say that extra kilometer of deck will help protect the bridge from seismic activity. Imagine this piece of balsa wood is a bridge deck.
This cross-section is this long, okay? If I take this piece instead and I bend it, this one is much more flexible because it is much more longer.
The idea is that in an earthquake, the deck will bend slowly, registering less seismic activity like a large ship in small waves. Moving upward, one of the bridge's newest engineering developments is these hourglass-shaped struts. They let the legs flex more than a traditional cross-shaped strut when there's a quake. Between the flexible deck and legs, the bridge could theoretically withstand a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, the highest of any structure in the world.
Seismic is going to be important, but seismic, we know how to design for seismic. The major concern, in my opinion, for these bridges is the wind.
On a bridge, strong winds can look like this.
You might have excessive motion of this bridge sway left and right, that impairs the traffic. That people say, I'm not going there.
So to prevent that, engineers created a new kind of deck, the Messina type deck. This cross-section shows
3 box girders. The 2 others were for vehicular traffic. The inner one was for train traffic. And then these box girders are connected by a very tight skin of crossbars.
All these lanes and tracks will be capable of supporting up to 6,000 cars per hour and 200 trains per day. And see how the side girders are tapered?
The crosswind will kind of move over like an aeroplane wing and will not create too much excessive motion.
Principles of the deck, which have been developed over the course of decades, have been tested in recent years.
The Çanakkale Bridge used similar principle, but it does not have the center one because it does not carry any train. The Messina Bridge, this is another challenge. Has been done for 2, but now you have to make it 3 box girder.
With this deck, engineers say the bridge could stay standing with winds up to 186 miles an hour. That's as fast as the top wind speeds of a Category 5 hurricane. But the high cost isn't the only challenge to completion. Critics have highlighted research that high numbers of migrating birds could collide with the bridge. Experts say that could be devastating to endangered species. And there's even concern that the mafia could influence construction contracts, inflating costs and adding risk. Currently, officials plan to break ground in mid-2024 and finish the bridge in the early 2030s. So for now, this new world's longest suspension bridge is still a decade away.